Austin Rivers received the biggest bailout in NBA history, in world history, in U.S. history. Received the biggest bailout in U.S. history.
As y'all can see, Draymond Green is straight up in full podcaster mode right now. Since he got sent home early, he's been out here heavy on that content grind, talking more than he's playing. We already know he's got a reputation for starting a lot of chaos on the basketball court, and there are countless clips floating around of him being labeled dirty by fans. But since his team got bounced in the play-in, it feels like he's just taking that energy and shifting it somewhere else. This time, he's coming at former NBA player Austin Rivers, the son of Doc Rivers, and he's basically saying his pops just handed him a bag for no real reason. I don't even know why he's over here pocket watching the man like that. But hold up, is he actually right though? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. Now let's break down exactly how this whole beef even started.
Everything hasn't just been one way. It hasn't just been like, oh man, Draymond did this, Steve's mad. I don't take that any way at all. Speaking of this December thing, I spoke to him after that and it was like, I don't think you like me. I don't think you've ever liked me if I'm honest. Like he cried, really? However, what he's meant to me in my life, what he's taught me in my life, just telling them in our exit interview, the things that he's taught me about being a winner, I'm not sure where else I could have got that. I played for Tom Izzo, and Steve just took that to a completely different level, and especially showing me things about this level and winning. Like I could never repay him for that. It's so important to who I've become. As much as he's done for me in basketball, a part of me think he's hindered me in my career and what I could have become. When KD came from 2016 on, I have not had a play in our playbook. Not a single play that we run for me in our playbook. This is 2016.
How do you feature Draymond Green?
Feature him doing what?
I don't know.
Feature him doing what?
I'm trying to be fair to the context of this.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's utter ridiculous. And you know what's shocking? Because Draymond has such he has such a high IQ. That's a big part of his game is how smart of a basketball player he is. So it bewilders me that he even thinks like this, because it's like, Draymond, them taking a chance on you and them playing you and Steve putting you at the forefront of that offense, making you be the point forward and kind of the, letting you allow you to have that voice and the freedom to have your, whether it's spasms or when he loses it, or to be the emotional leader of that team. Steve let him be who he was. So to hear he was hindered, especially Draymond's never been an offensive score juggernaut. He's left open 80% of the game. No one guards him.
Now look, Draymond Green knows he dead wrong for reaching back to high school days acting like he and Austin Rivers had the same stats. Now since when is 20 points and 28 points even in the same conversation? Draymond gotta knock it off, bro. His high school didn't even play the same level of competition as Austin Rivers' high school did. And now he definitely tripping about this whole role player conversation, because there are a bunch of guys in the NBA who feel like they could do more, but they just aren't asked to do so. Just like Draymond, he was great at what he was asked to do. I don't know why he's trying to blame Steve Kerr for not expanding him in the offense more, because Draymond had his chance to show what he could do when Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson missed the entire 2019-20 season. Guess what Draymond Green averaged without his two main guys on the floor? He averaged a whopping 8, 6, and 6 on 38% shooting, and he only played 43 games that year. We all know he is ducking his taco when Steph Curry is not out there with him. He doesn't want any smoke unless Stephen Curry is playing. We have seen it countless times, and I can understand why Austin answered the question like that. But Draymond Green did not take kindly to those words.
If that's the case, I'm still with my first team. He was gone from his first team in 2 years. And so I just sometimes you just should not say something. Always isn't a time to, everything isn't something you should speak on. And I don't think that was really one for Austin Rivers to be bewildered about and say it's ridiculous, because the guy received the biggest bailout in U.S. history prior to President Trump bailing out the airlines when they needed it. Austin Rivers received the biggest bailout in NBA history, in world history, in U.S. history. Received the biggest bailout in U.S. history when his dad gave him $42 million. And I tip my hat to Doc. I pray that one day, it won't be $42 million then because NBA has gone up so much. But I pray that I can give DJ $200 million or give Deuce $250 million. I pray that I can do that one day. So I tip my hat to Doc.
That's the case. I'm still with my first team, he said, doubling down on his point while trying to separate loyalty from perception. He pointed out that Austin Rivers was gone from his first team in just a couple years, and then shifted into a broader take. Sometimes you just shouldn't speak, he added, arguing that not every situation needs commentary and that this wasn't really something Rivers needed to be bewildered about. Then the conversation took a sharp turn because Draymond Green brought up money in a way nobody expected. He compared Austin Rivers' career path to what he called one of the biggest bailouts in NBA history, referring to the idea that he got a massive financial advantage through his father, Doc Rivers. And listen, he didn't stop there. He even said he respects Doc and hopes one day he can provide similar generational wealth for his own kids, mentioning dreams of setting them up with hundreds of millions in the future. But then he circled back to his main argument, that situation matters in the NBA, and landing in the right system can change everything. He used his own career as an example, saying that if the Golden State Warriors didn't draft him and develop him in the right environment, his path could have looked completely different. In his view, he earned his contract, just like Austin earned his role, but both benefited from timing, structure, and opportunity. And he pushed back on the idea that this was just about a coach writing checks, pointing out that front offices and ownership ultimately make those financial decisions. Still, the underlying message was clear. In Draymond's eyes, both situations came down to being in the right place at the right time and getting paid once you prove your role.
Draymond, this is ridiculous. Seriously. Ridiculous, but you know what? I'm gonna address it because you crossed the line and you were mad disrespectful for whatever reason. You've been around too long. We both were drafted in the same class. The fact that you don't have the wherewithal to do your due diligence and actually understand I was being highly complimentary of you on the Dan Patrick Show, but it's you, and I shouldn't be surprised. You always act irrationally, emotionally immature, and your anger always puts you in hot water. So here I am having to address a video of you belittling my career. First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about our numbers being similar. I did it at the national level, the top level. Hence why I got the Naismith Award, and I got pretty much every award you can think of in high school. I was ranked number one. You were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next. College, you actually were a really good college basketball player, but it's hard to compare because I was only there for 6 months. Something you could never do. Talk about I was, one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All-ACC, freshman player of the year, lottery pick. Stop. Next. The NBA, hey man, you got it, Dre. I mean, listen, I played in the NBA for more than 10 years, more than a decade, but 11 years, but I'm not a Hall of Famer like you. So I'll give you that credit. All right, you got it. But let's peel back that onion and understand why. Easy, Tiger. Okay? You have the delusion, the non-wherewithal, the irony of you saying I'm part of the biggest bailout in NBA history. Draymond, you were the luckiest basketball player I think I've ever seen, especially in modern day history. Let's talk about that. You were drafted to a franchise with a Hall of Fame front office, Bob Myers, Hall of Fame coach, Steve Kerr, the greatest shooter of all time, and perhaps the top 5 player of all time, Steph Curry, Hall of Famer. One of the greatest shooters, top 5 shooter of all time, another Hall of Famer, Klay Thompson. The Swiss Army knife himself, the guy who could do a little bit of everything on the floor, Andre Iguodala, another Hall of Famer. I know, keep up, it's a lot of talent. Not to mention one of the most lethal scorers of all time and arguably a top 10 player of all time, Kevin Durant, the same guy you chased off because of this, your mouth. You talk too much. And that's not even counting the plethora of talent around those guys. The Sean Livingstons, the Barbosas, the Andrew Wiggins, the Jordan Pooles, who you also chased off. Cut it out. Draymond, you're the backpack jump shooter. You're the guy that everyone leaves open. No one guards you. There are hours and hours and hours of film of just you being left wide open. In fact, anybody can just YouTube or Google or watch any Draymond game ever, and he's open all game. There are clips of you getting a rebound and just driving in a straight line and just getting a wide open layup because everyone's fanning out to guard the actual talent on the team. Talking about Steve Kerr hindered your career. Bro, Steve Kerr made your career. How dare you? Coming at me? Are you kidding me? I wish I could give my son $200 million if I was a coach. Yo, the NBA doesn't give coaching jobs to guys who may or may not sucker punch one of the players and staff. You need to fall back, Dre. Let's just be frenemies.
Draymond Green has been getting absolutely cooked lately, and I mean deep-fried, oven-baked, the whole works. Now, don't get it twisted, he's had flashes offensively here and there, but never really enough to make anybody say, yeah, run the offense through Draymond. I just don't get why he doesn't lean into what he already has, 4 championships and a Defensive Player of the Year award, instead of throwing shots at his coach and hinting he could have done more. That move felt unnecessary, bro. And honestly, it feels like the more these guys sit in front of microphones, the more out of pocket and corny things start sounding, especially with all this podcast era back and forth drama. On another note, the Golden State Warriors dynasty really feels like it's officially winding down, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Draymond either ends up on a different team or starts seriously entertaining retirement next year, which, if that happens, just means more podcast time for him anyway. But that's it for this one. Appreciate y'all for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video.